Love finances, the other F word, and want to support the show? Become a patron by going to patreon.com/FTOFW. You'll get special features, a shout out on the air, and early releases. Or if you prefer, pick up some merchandise at financestheotherfword.com.
As fantastic a CFP as Mel O is, as wonderful an attorney as I am, and as good as Stormy is at whatever it is he does, please do note that anything said in our podcasts are our opinions alone and are not meant to be taken as financial or legal advice.
Welcome to Finances, the Other F Word, a Gen Xer podcast for musicians and music lovers, where we discuss money and music without all the pretentious bullshit. Here are your hosts, Zoe Terry, attorney at large, Stormy Andrews, founder of Yokel Local Marketing, and Mel O, certified financial planner and author of Finances, the Other F Word. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey guys, welcome to Finances, the Other F Word. We are inching ever closer to Christmas, and I am getting short timers where I'm just like, fuck it. We're all having libations, but it's late in the afternoon. Our workday is done. It's not like we did anything wrong. And today and it again. Did you guys hear it? Like,
nope.
Like it's starting.
No,
oh my God. So I love this. So what happens, you guys, when you're a chick and you start getting older, your body starts changing. Okay. I don't know if anybody had this conversation with you, but one of the things that goes is the fact that you can't drink hard alcohol anymore, or at least I couldn't. So I was a whiskey drinker. Then I had to go back to vodka, and now I'm on beer. Only one type of beer that I can drink that does not give me a headache or make me sick, but it fills my mouth with so much saliva that it gets hard to talk. And I've only had a couple drinks, and I can feel it like I feel like I'm at the dentist. So anyway, I'm telling you.
I heard that one. Anyway,
yeah. Well, you're gonna hear a lot more.
What you need is a little spittoon next to you. So
oh yeah. Yeah, maybe I need to stop drinking the beer and switch back to water but it's really good. So one less drink, but
what's this? Look at this. What's that? Oh no, you ruined it. Anyway, there you go. Carry on.
What do we ruin?
Bob, I was using his tail as a moustache, but he jumped off.
I'm glad I missed that. So anyway, today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about Stormy's favorite thing, which is disruptors. And so, Stormy, would you like to give us a quick definition of what it means to be a disruptor?
A rebel rouser. Do you want to go with that one, or you want me to change it up a little bit?
Okay, I guess, can you give us a little longer definition of what it is to be a disruptor?
So a disruptor, at least the disruptors I think of, is just like disrupting an industry. I mean, disrupting it so bad that it just goes away. So for instance, the typewriter industry was disrupted by the computer. Horse and carriage was disrupted by the internal combustion engine placed inside of this thing with four wheels called the automobile. Right. So if you look throughout history, there are many things that have just been completely disrupted. Fax machines were disrupted by email, or all sorts of other things. So when we talk about disruptions, we're talking about like disrupting something that maybe the first stage of extinction. Asteroids disrupted dinosaurs, so I'm told.
Nice.
What do you think about that definition?
I think that's a very, very good definition. And so since our last episode, we had our little variety hour and we talked about Eat Just, and it got me very curious because the thing is that in 2020, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened. We've seen a lot of smaller companies go out of business, and we've seen the restaurant and the travel and leisure sector get their asses handed to them. However, there is a lot of really great doors that 2020 has opened up, and we have some companies that, not that the ones that are on the disruptor list have taken advantage of it because they were already very well established, but they haven't, and they were able to get a stronger toehold in to increase their market share and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it would be interesting for us just to review the top 10 disruptors as per CNBC and talk a little bit about what they do. One of them on the list, actually, I've been using for years. All the rest of them, never heard of them. Speaking of
CNBS?
CNBC or CNB.
Oh,
yeah.
CNBC. I call them CNBS.
Okay. Well, whatever. The link will be on there so you can read the BS or not read the BS.
Okay.
But either way, it's on their list. And speaking of disruptors, I have financial planning packages that I think are pretty fucking disrupting myself. If you go to financesotherfword.com/packages, basically, in my industry, financial packages start at, about $1,000 to $2,500 a pop. Go up anywhere from there to $10,000 or to $15,000, which is fucking ludicrous. And here, what we do is it's like kind of a do-it-yourself. I walk you through appointments every single month. We cover a different aspect of the financial planning process, and it is only $50 a month. And then after that, you can keep me on retainer. This is a big deal, you guys. New Year's is around the corner. A lot of people have been laid off. A lot of people have seen their income have to be adjusted. So you need to get your shit together. And that should actually probably be my tagline. Get your shit together and get my packages. Actually, I think I'm going to change that because it's totally true. So let's go ahead and
And that's a disruptor. I mean, I'm just telling you guys, her package is ridiculous. That package should be, your package should be disrupting the whole entire financial industry, just the way my package is disrupting. Oh, I'll save that story for later.
Yeah, that's for Patreon listeners only and xvideos.com. Those are the two places that belongs. But yes, thank you for that partial shout out that turned into a lewd comment, which I respect both of those things. So, all right. So what we're just really going to do is we're going to go through just the top 10 of the disruptors list. Like I said, only one of them on here I even had heard of. And if you guys have heard of any of these, you can feel free to jump in. So the number one on the CNBC or CNBS, as Stormy refers to them, is Stripe. And I'm sure everybody's heard of Stripe.
Yep.
So it was, you know what Stripe is, right, Zoe?
No, that's why I said no.
Oh, I didn't hear you. It's the little card thing that you put in like your
No, that's Square. Stripe's a little different.
Oh shit. Okay. I don't know what Stripe is then. Stormy, what's Stripe?
Stripe is ridiculous. They've made it super easy, super simple, ridiculously easy to accept credit cards on your website, to accept digital payments. So just think about how much e-commerce has blown up. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're a small company, because there's no monthly fees, you don't have to get a merchant account. You can get it up and running, and it's just easy. So what Stripe has done is collecting payments via credit card on your website or electronically. They've made it super duper easy.
Well, and they made it to the number one position on the disruptors, the 50 disruptors for 2020. They were launched in 2010, headquartered out of San Francisco. They have $1.6 billion in funding that they have been able to raise thus far. And their valuation is currently at $36 billion. And currently it is used by Amazon, Slack, Glossier, Shopify, and Armor. And to Stormy's point, I used to work in merchant services. So for those of you who happen to have any businesses out there, if you've ever went to a bank or went to a different payment processor and you try to get a merchant services account, you're basically applying for a loan. They're going to pull your credit. They're going to check there to make sure, because what happens is that when somebody buys something, they immediately give the merchant money, and they need to make sure that the merchant's not doing anything illegal and that they're going to be credit worthy. And so there was a lot of people that would come to us when I worked with merchant services that quite frankly could not qualify. And actually I have the best story, and this is 100% true story. This is why it's fucking great. So there's certain things that you can't do taking Visa and MasterCard for payment. And one of them is illicit sexual acts or, stuff like that. So in Washington State, there was this bar that when you went in, it was like they had a menu. And if you're a restaurant or a bar at the time, if you want to get merchant services, you have to provide a copy of the menu. And so it was like Jack Daniels, $150. Okay. And then it was like, I don't know, Johnny Walker 350 or something like that. And what it ended up being was that it was actually a brothel. And so what would happen is that when they came in to order the Jack Daniels and they paid the $150, they were really getting like Jack Daniels and a blowjob or something like that. And what ended up happening is that they investigated them and found out that that's what was actually happening. And of course, then they blacklisted them for merchant services. So you could get blacklisted for what you sold. But now I think the Chicken Ranch out in Pahrump, I think they take Visa and MasterCard for credit. So yeah, so I think that that's changed at least somewhat. But at the time, you couldn't do that. And so there's a whole bunch of different fee structures that go within merchant services. It depends on how the card is actually processed. So to Stormy's point, they charge 2.9% flat fee with 30 cents per transaction. And what they did to spin this off, which is what you'll see a lot of times with places like this or credit unions, or you'll have like Boeing, like Boeing. And then they spin off to like Boeing Credit Union to help with their actual employees and stuff like that. But in September of 2020, they created a small business lender branch called Stripe Capital, and they basically extend money to small business owners. And it's faster than going through traditional stuff. They have more lenient lending guidelines, and then basically the loan is paid off to Stripe by taking a percentage of daily sales until the loan is paid off versus monthly payments that you would get from a traditional bank. And I just thought that was a very interesting spin, but you can already see that they're, continuing to disrupt, and now they're moving into the lending space. The second one is, I hope I'm saying this right, Coupang, and it was launched in 2010. It's headquartered out of Seoul, South Korea. It has raised funding-wise $3.4 billion with a valuation of $9 billion currently. It is also in the e-commerce and retail space, and it is dubbed the Amazon of South Korea. It serves this third largest commerce market. It has over 5,000 drivers with 99% of the packages delivered in less than 24 hours. They have something called dawn delivery that if you make an order and you place it before midnight, the package will arrive at your doorstep at 7 the next day. So just round the clock stuff. And they do have competitors in like G Market and 11th Street. But the major advantage of this is the simple fact that they do not have to compete with Amazon and South Korea currently. And so that's helping obviously boost their business. The other one, the third one on the list is Indigo Agriculture. This was launched in 2014. It's headquartered in Boston. It's raised $850 million in funding so far with a valuation of $3.5 billion. And it works within the agriculture and the farming sector. And what they basically do is they try to optimize plant yield. So they take seeds and they, splice them or whatever, generate them to have certain attributes so that you can get a higher yield out of the plants. And the thing that I thought was super cool, which was a further disruption, is in 2018, they created a marketplace which allowed grain growers to connect directly to buyers. So they completely sidestep the middleman, and then the buyers specifically are willing to pay a higher premium because they know that the crops are more refined and have a better quality and have produced better yields, etc. Now, they also developed a partnership with Anheuser-Busch to deliver 2.2 bushels of rice grown specifically with certain environmental attributes. And they've been able to reduce the water and nitrogen use by 10%. They've been able to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 10%. And they teamed up with the World Bank. So for those of you who don't know what the World Bank is, go back to our episode, Who Are You?, which covers the WHO and covers the World Health Organization. I think it was sometime in the summer. We touch on what the World Bank does there. It's episode number 163. And they're trying to share their data so that they can help spread this over the world so that they can fight world hunger, which I just thought was just fucking cool as shit. Number 4, this one I love. I've used this for years, is Coursera.
Are you guys? What's a Coursera? Is that the thing that flower I wore when I went to prom?
No, that's a corsage, and it's also not a corset that you might be wearing now. Yeah, okay. It's not one of those.
Coursera? What's a Coursera?
Dude, this is the coolest fucking thing. It was launched in 2012. It's headquartered out of Mountain View, California. It's raised $315 million in funding so far with an evaluation of $1.6 billion. And it focuses on the higher education and online learning thing. So you can download their app and you can take free college courses. And so I have taken numerous courses from them on all different topics. Some of them you pay for, some of them you don't. But the thing that they really excel in is that a cornerstone of their whole platform is that they want people to have free education. However, they also offer, since it's all online platforms, they offer like degrees, actual degrees, real degrees from universities at cheap rates. So for instance, obtaining a master's degree on like a campus where you'd have to go to it every day costs about $80,000, but through Coursera, you can do it for $15,000 to $25,000. So this is like a big fucking deal, you guys. And the deal is that as using the platform, it's fantastic. You know, you go through it, you do all the exercises, and then at the end you can pay, you know, I think it's like $15 if you want to get a piece of paper that says you've completed this class. I never do that because I was never doing it for anybody. I was doing it just to learn it, but you can do that. So I guess, you know, if you want to show your boss or somebody that you work with all the different classes that you've completed, you do have the ability to do that. And it's also teamed up with Google, Amazon, and government offices in Arizona, Oklahoma, Costa Rica, Greece, and Panama to offer training specific to the employees. And so, you know, we talked a lot on this podcast about how millennials are carrying a lot of student loan debt and how the cost of inflation from colleges from when like we were going to where it is now and all of that big price gap. So Coursera is kind of taking it and it's bringing it back to where it was. And they have accredited universities on their platform, but they're getting more of them on. And so if any of you are looking at maybe extending your degree, you know, check out Coursera, see if they offer something in that vein. But I was so excited to see them on here because I thought they were just the coolest thing. And I thought I was the only one who knew about it, but I guess not. Because I Googled like free college classes and it popped up and I was like, fucking sweet, you know, but that was a number of years ago. But now I guess the cat's out of the bag. So number 5 on our list is Klarna, which was launched in 2005. It's headquartered out of Stockholm. It has $970 million in funding so far with a valuation of $5.5 billion. And it is also in the e-commerce space and the financial services space. But this is what's really fucking cool and odd about this. And when I read this, I was like, man, that's just a crazy way to come in. They allow clients to buy from their favorite stores, but they pay later. And so what they do is they pay the retailer immediately. So you want to get something at Macy's. Klarna is going to go ahead and let you use their app, buy it at Macy's. They're going to pay Macy's immediately. You get it delivered or you pick it up or whatever the case is. And then you have the opportunity that you can pay the full balance off that what you paid for Macy's within 30 days with no interest or over a 36-month period with interest. So basically what they've done is they've allowed you to have it now and they've given you like a net pay option where like if you're, you know, a couple days away from getting paid and your washing machine goes out and need some fucking money, but you know that as soon as you get paid, you're going to be able to pay cash, you can use this app. Boom, go through it. You don't got to do credit hassles. You don't got to do all that bullshit at the store credit cards, which we've talked about on this podcast before, which are notoriously higher than a standard traditional Visa or MasterCard, usually within the double digits, high 20s to the low 30s. And so this app just basically says, hey, you need it. You can pay us in 30 days, no interest, no problem. And the way that they generate their money is that the stores actually pay to be on their app. And they have currently right now over 200,000 stores, including Sephora, Adidas, Abercrombie and Finch, and H&M. And they have over 85 million users worldwide, 6 million of those being in the United States. And what is unusual, and if anybody owns a business who's listening to us, you know, they have turned a profit every single year since they've launched, which is just fucking insane to me. But I thought that was so fucking cool that they circumvented the store credit cards. They allowed consumers to go shop where they want to shop. And I mean, I thought that was fucking amazing. Maybe it's just me, but I thought it was amazing.
What's the name of it and how do you spell it?
Klarna, Klarna.
Okay. Interesting.
And they're headquartered out of Stockholm. but obviously they service the United States as well. And I just thought that was amazing. And then there is Tempus, launched in 2015. It is this is number 6 on our countdown, or count up, I guess technically. My mouth is saliva again. Sorry. It's headquartered out of Chicago. They've been able to raise $620 million in funding with the valuation of $5 billion. And they're in the healthcare industry, and what they specialize in is genomic sequencing. And so they use artificial intelligence and machine learning and different structuring, sequencing of the cells, and they analyze data through electronic records so that people can be aware of different trials and stuff that are coming up. Because a lot of times what will happen is that, you know, if you have cancer, you go to your doctor doesn't know if you fit the profile, that there's this trial going on over here 10 states away that you could actually be part of. And so what this actual company does is it takes all of that together. You go, it's free open enrollment. You go in, you enroll in it. And currently they work with 5,000 oncologists and 80% of all medical centers and hundreds of different hospitals. And so they're taking all of this and they're making it more efficient for people who have terminal diseases to be able to step in and be able to have access to trials. The reason why this is amazing is because you're getting geographic information as well as health information. So if somebody in Florida has cancer and then somebody in Washington State has cancer and they both have the same health profile, but for some reason more people out of Florida get over it faster or it's more successful with this trial, then they can start really honing in on, okay, what is the difference there? Is it the climate? Is it the heat? Is it, you know, the air quality, whatever the case is? And they can do this in real time now. And that just fucking blew me away. I thought that was absolutely amazing as well. I was going to say something else and I can't remember what I was going to say now. Anyway, and the reason why I'm telling you guys how much the funding is because these, you know, when we talk about a small cap company or we talk about a micro cap company, these are companies that are tiny, you know, as compared to Amazon, right? But in the grand scheme of things, they're really not tiny in that aspect. And in order for you to be able to drum up enough funding from venture capitalists or from private vendors and have them go down and reach in their wallet to pull you out money, this is a big deal. And so these companies, it's not like you might hear of them overnight, but this shit has been going on for a hot minute for them to go ahead and be able to accrue all of this money to be able to have the funding to help have the valuations that they do. And so that's why it's important that you guys understand these numbers and that we're going through them. Company number 7 is Zipline, which was launched in 2014. It's headquartered in Half Moon Bay in California, which I like the name. Funding, they have generated $225 million in funding with the valuation of $1.2 billion. And they focus on the drones, logistics, and robots industry. And they specifically target, but they're expanding now, Rwanda and Ghana, because they have it's very hard to get medical supplies to a lot of these regions. You know, take COVID, for instance. This is a global issue. We have people all over the globe getting it, regardless of if they're near a city or not. And so what basically happens is the doctors text the company with a list of stuff. And then what they do is they box it up and they attach it to a parachute. And then they take a drone and they fly the drone to the medical facility and they drop it. And the parachute opens and it lands on the ground. And now these people who have, you know, like in the instance of Rwanda and Ghana, there's no roads to get there, you guys. So it's not like, oh, this is a rough road. No, motherfucker, there's no roads, right? And so they use the drones to deliver it, and they deliver blood and vaccines this way. And I just thought that was the coolest thing.
That is cool.
Yeah. Especially being in the middle of a global pandemic. And number 8 is, and let me make a note of something I want to touch on here before it leaves my mind, because this is
I don't understand how we haven't named Tesla.
Tesla's just not in the top 10, babe. Maybe it was.
We're out.
Maybe it was.
Where'd you get this list?
Maybe it was a couple years ago, but Tesla's already a thing now, babe.
I'm out.
Well, you're always out.
I'm out. I can't take this anymore.
When are you in? When Tesla's in? Okay. You need to like stop sucking Elon Musk dick. Seriously, you are so fucking every episode we talk about your balls and Tesla, I swear. Like every single one. Okay. All right. So number 8, we only got 3 more to go, Stormy, and none of them are Tesla. I'm just letting you know.
This
I
is a
know.
horrible show, people.
I know. I'm sorry.
Cancel your subscriptions right now.
If you were here, I would kick you in the nuts. All right. So, was it SoFi or is that so? Yeah, I think it's SoFi. It was
I've
launched
heard
in,
of that one.
yeah. Do you know what about it? You want to tell us about it?
It's for consolidating all your student loans and stuff into, or other loans into one payment. Is that right?
Well, you can do that because they were launched in 2011. They're headquartered out of San Francisco. They raised they're funding, but this makes more sense because of what they do. Their funding that they raised was $2.3 billion, and they have a valuation of $4.8 billion. And they specialize in mobile financial services, and they have made the switch into offering stocks and ETFs. And they have a fractional trading share called StockBit. So I'm going to explain that here in a minute. And they also became an administrator of the big PPP loans. So if you come to somebody like me and you say, hey, Mel, I don't know, I'm just going to take an extreme example, Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, the shares of stock are over $100,000. Hey, Mel, I got $50,000 and I want to buy Berkshire Hathaway. And I would tell you, no, thank you for playing. You don't have enough to buy one share. And so what you have a lot of times with clients who when they're just starting out, like when I first started investing at 18, I literally put in $25 a month to a technology fund because that's all I had the money to do. And what happens is that you start buying fractional shares within the mutual fund. And there was a whole bunch of different softwares where it's like a wealth builder and stuff like that, where it's like if you wanted to own Apple, you could put in $20 a month until you had enough money to buy a share of Apple. And then the rest of the money would just keep accumulating fractional shares. That's basically what fractional shares are. And so they launched their own platform, which again, there's many platforms out there to do that, called StockBits. And they have also went into the actual creation of the ETF space. So they are a financial company that does financial type stuff. So
Yeah, I've seen some of they've been advertised. I'm the only one, as you've said, under the age of 70 who watches anything on TV, and they've done quite a lot of advertising recently for consolidating all your student loans and loans into one loan with them, and making it easier and quicker to pay off. So.
Yeah. And the way that, it used to be back in the day, you had student loans and you had Pell Grants, and then that's as far as it went. And now you got private companies doing loans, and you got private companies stepping in, doing loans, charging a higher interest rate, and then only making it possible for these types of things. And then so the student has to go out and go, okay, well, this money's only used for books. I can only use for books. Okay, but I still need to pay lab fees. So now I'm going to get this loan, and this loan pays for lab fees and tuition, but it doesn't pay enough for tuition. So now I have to go over here and get a tuition one. And so what ends up happening is that people who are modern day people who are trying to go through a college education, they end up having multiple loans, fractional loans all over the fucking place, all different interest rates, and they're paying all different terms. Some of them don't start until after you graduate, after 6 months. Some of them you pay interest only on. And what happens is that it's very confusing, and it's a very confusing thing. So you can, as Zoe had touched on, you can bundle those together, streamline them, and then basically the finance company steps in, pays off everybody you owe, and then consolidate your loan, and then says you'll pay me XYZ every month for however many years until the loan is actually paid off. So the next one is Natera, which was launched in 2015, headquartered in Jerusalem, and has raised $13 million in funding with the valuation of $40 million. And this is kind of fucking cool. They work in remote sensing technology. So they have created a technology that senses tiny movements on your skin so that they can monitor your vital signs without actually having a cuff on or wearing a sensor or having any kind of monitor. Literally, you can sit it next to you in the chair as you watch TV, and it will report if you're heart rate drops or something happens. They also use it to help monitor stress, fatigue, and pain. It can read the movements on top of your skin, even through clothing and furniture. And again, no wires, no monitors. And the most important thing of it, especially specifically in a COVID world, is that they can do this without having to have medical personnel interact with the person, and they can monitor them to make sure that they're okay. And they have even expanded themselves too, which I thought was really cool, because I know that a lot of people do this completely on accident, and I don't have kids, but if this happened to me, I'd feel awful, is that they also can put it in automobiles, so that if you leave a kid in the car and it's hot and you forget that your kid's in the back seat, they can detect that there's movement, or they can detect that, something is going on with the child, and it alerts you. And, Vegas, it gets hot as fuck, right? So the fact that anybody can help perceive that, I mean, that would be great. And I wish they would also not leave animals in the cars either. And then finally, number 10, which is also not Tesla, Stormy, is Gojek, which was launched in 2010. It's headquartered out of Jakarta, Indonesia. They have raised funding of $6.2 billion, and they have a valuation of $12.5 billion. And basically, they transport and do food delivery and payments. And so when this originally came about, the person who created it saw all of the motorcycle traffic that was going on in Asia and decided that they wanted to fix the problem. And now they have expanded this company doing food delivery, taking payments, and transportation through most of Asia. They have GoPay as a subsidiary of it. Facebook, PayPal, they have all recently invested in the company, because one of the things that you can do is as a company, you can invest in the company. So we just had a big thing that came out with Merck. Merck cashed out the amount of money, and I did a money news on it, and I can't remember who it was now, but Merck had invested in like 2015 a whole bunch of money in this company that ended up running all the way through. They ended up unloading. They took a massive profit. Go back and listen to the money news either this week or last week, and I actually covered that. So that we have Facebook and PayPal stepping up as the companies, and they have actually invested in those companies as well. And this is the thing that I love about this company. So in March, it launched a multi-million-dollar partner support to help fund merchants that have been affected by the pandemic, extending them insurance coverage and giving them affordable meals and income assistance. And then all of the senior execs of the company has also pledged to donate 25% of their annual sales to the fund to help support their partners. So I just thought that was an amazing act of giving back, especially in a time like this where we're seeing a lot of merchants are really getting hit hard. And so we had a couple. When you're looking at this disruptor stuff, I know Stormy likes them because they're doing something different, and it's kind of cutting edge and exciting. But these are the companies that are leading up to eventually issue IPOs. So we had two major IPOs that were issued this week. DoorDash went public on Wednesday, and Airbnb went public on Thursday. And I think when DoorDash hit, it was supposed to be priced between 160 something. It went up, and now it's heading down. And I haven't checked on Airbnb, but these are the precursor of those companies that are eventually going to go public. And all of this funding that they're getting and all of this valuation, those are all the numbers that you need in order to be able to go to the SEC to get the approval to be able to launch your IPO. And remember that when you're a private holder of a company and you launch an IPO, like let's say that, we all have shares in finance is the other F word, and we take this bitch public. Okay. What happens is that when we go, okay, we have X amount of shares and we're going to take them all public, and people are going to, there's an underwriter that underwrites the issue. We talked about this on the bond episode. They underwrite the issue. They look at all the numbers and they go, okay, based on your valuation, based on your balance sheets, based on your profit and losses, based on what you've been able to do, what you have, et cetera, and how many stocks that you're going to actually issue, we are going to evaluate it at a certain point. And the company's whole drive is to get it exactly right, because they want to make sure that they don't come out with the price of the stock too high where people go, I'm not going to fucking buy that. Okay. Or they come out too low and then you see this massive spike. So that's happened with, you've seen it both times on either side. But like if in my example, the three of us, we're all owners in finance is the other F word. We go public. Those shares that we release, let's say we have 1 million shares, but we only release $500,000 shares. The minute those 500,000 shares go public, that's the only time that the three of us will make money on those shares. Because once those shares are purchased, just like you have a car and you sell it, or if you have a Tesla, just to fucking for Stormy, if you have a Tesla, you own it and then you sell it to somebody. Okay, well, if that person sells it after you for $40,000 extra, you don't get any of that money. So when you're pricing an IPO, it's very, very important that you make sure that you hit it exactly right, because you don't want to have people not buy it and then you don't make any fucking money. Or you don't want to see it come in at like 150 and then all of a sudden people are so jazzed about the stock is that it's trading at $210 and then you're like, well, fuck, we could have done it at $210 and we would have made even more money. So DoorDash, billionaires overnight. And so when we're talking about these disruptors, most of them are private, if not all of them are private, to the best of my knowledge, but that I did not actually research. But usually they're private. But then we would expect that if they can make it through, they're going to be going public at some time in the future. And so I just thought that was really fucking cool.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So Tesla might be on the list, but I didn't look at all 50, Stormy. So
gotcha.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
So anyway, does anybody have anything to add to this before we jet out?
I'm still throwing my protest out there because Tesla was not on the list.
Okay, so duly noted. Zoe's looking kind of weird and reflecting. So Zoe, for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, and by the way, follow us on TikTok. Okay, TikTok is what the fuck Stormy wants us to be on, and I am working my ass off to get content created for TikTok. So fucking follow us on TikTok, for fuck's sake. I don't even know what our handle is. Let me look. Our handle on TikTok is, oh my God, what is our handle? FTOFW_podcast. So please follow us on TikTok, because I'm putting a whole bunch of stuff on there, and we, I want it to be not in vain. And then of course, you can follow us on all of our traditional social media things. Facebook, who has been in the news, by the way. Did you see 48 attorney generals? They're going after them for monopolizing. You don't think not hard?
No, I said they're going hard.
Oh yeah, no, they're going hard. And actually, I think that our next episode should be on that. Not because of the simple fact, I know that there's, we've seen the coming onslaught of Parler, because people are feeling that Facebook is too liberal and that they're censoring people, which I don't think they're censoring people. I think they're censoring lies. But of course, so now we've seen the rise of Parler that's come out of that. But
have either of you ever even been on Parler? I haven't, so I just wondered what it's like. Yeah, I mean, I gather what it's like, which is why I haven't. But I just
right. I'm like, nope, no reason. A lot of angry people.
Yeah, I haven't done it either, and I actually had a client inquire about it, and I said, well, it's privately held, but and he fits the profile for Parler. So, I told him we'll watch on it. We'll wait to see when it comes out with an IPO. And if you want to pick some up, we'll pick some up. But they're going after Facebook because Facebook has been, and I want to dig into this, and I probably will cover this on the next episode, because this is, how I feel about monopolies. I talk about them all the time on this podcast, and I like Facebook, but if you're a monopoly, you're a fucking monopoly. But they have been doing things specifically to block other social media presences coming into the space, basically trying to protect their position. And the fact that we see kind of a like everybody's moving it as one, that we have 48 different attorney generals that have all filed suit against them. That I don't know what would happen, because you remember in our The Men Who Built America episode, talk about this all the fucking time, Rockefeller, they said he had a monopoly. And so what they did was they made him break up his oil company, and then once he did that, he got a piece of all of the different companies that it broke up into. And then they went and they ran and got, so he became richer. So they broke up the monopoly of, was it, yeah, it was Rockefeller. I can't remember what his company was called. Because Carnegie died first. So yeah, it was Rockefeller, but he ended up becoming even more rich because when they broke it up into smaller pieces, those smaller pieces ran. So sometimes you'll have a stock that will do a spin-off where they merge for, one of their product lines with another product line of a different company. Then they make another little tiny company. They get a ticker on it and then they spin it off. And then, if you have 100 shares of this stock and they spin it off, you might get like 5 shares of this new company or something like that. And so that's what ended up happening. So if they come in and they break up Facebook the way that they did that, I don't know what that would even look like. I'm sure that Zuckerberg is going to be just fine if they do. But I'm just very curious as far as what they've been doing. Have any of you guys read anything on that?
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think that is going to be very interesting because it's very relevant and it's very new. And so next year is going to be kind of a rough year for Facebook. And the fact that, Stormy knows his company deals a lot with helping people advertise on Facebook, and their algorithm is forever changing and forever getting better. And they have so much data on people. And so I'm just really curious to see what the accusations of the investigation is. And so we'll probably be picking that up next time. And as always, follow Lulu Mittens on Instagram, and then get Stormy's book. I almost said Finances of the F Word. So get Mel's book, Finances of the F Word, Another F Word to Love. Then get Stormy's book, Finances of the Other F Word, Another F Word to Love. And then Stormy's other book, The World Best Buyer Persona System. Follow us on TikTok. Check out our YouTube channel under Finances of the Other F Word. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook.
Twat us on Twitter.
Twat us on Twitter. We need more twats on Twitter, quite frankly. Yeah, but Zoe has been taking the reins on that. So if you guys are sending any kind of messages to Instagram or Twitter, give her a minute and she'll get back to you. And then, of course, let's just close out with our ever-present Google number. And we would love to hear from you and hear any feedback that you have for us on the podcast as far as topics or just how much you love or hate us at 775-537-4352. And without that, bleh, I'm going to have a drink of beer. With that, I think we're out.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. If you like us, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.